heat up the head bolt on one and try to get it off, and then the other one I'll probably have to weld something on it to get it to turn off.
Yeah, when I made mine, I guess I didn't necessarily use.
Please enter your participant or moderator code, followed by the pound key.
Spraying that were still like a third, half full, and I just poked holes in them all.
Please say your name, followed by the pound key. You are the first participant
suicide
in the
mix and
conference.
automatic transmission fluid.
Yeah.
It was a cocktail.
That's what we used to when we went up to the old drugstore in Buffalo, and you got, that's what they called it, was the suicide or whatever.
Yes, it was a little bit of everything.
A little bit of every flavor.
Lime and lemon and cherry.
Yeah.
You put a little fizzy water in it, and then it was good.
And I was just a straight cherry coke guy. I didn't care for the suicide.
I liked was there a Lime River?
Yeah, what was that? Yeah.
Green River.
Green River. The Green River phosphate. That was the one that people used to.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
When we had a soda fountain in Buffalo Center.
Yeah, Hannah gets that. My
This
youngest
number's
daughter.
tried to call me 3 times, and they won't leave a message, so I know who it is. Almost looks like a legit number.
Well, somebody's been calling me all the time, so finally I answered it, and they asked me how I was enjoying my timeshare.
You see, that's what I hate. You know.
And I said, I don't have a timeshare.
Well, the bank's not open yet?
No, I need my marriage license.
Oh, you have to have it, huh? She came all the way down from Pine City, Minnesota to pick up some furniture and stuff for their house up there, and she was going to get her name changed on her checking account, but she forgot her marriage license up there.
Yeah, the one thing I ever told myself to grab.
Yeah, of course.
I did not grab it.
How's life?
It's fine.
Yeah. Good.
Boring.
Boring.
Yeah, all I do is work now.
Welcome to adulting.
Yeah, welcome to the real one.
Everybody can say, I hear you on the radio, but they got the wrong name.
I left a message.
The only time I get some highlight,
Trying to get it up. I don't think it's one I have either.
So do you want to leave at 7 next Monday? I registered at 8.
well, who's all, if me and Hep are going, how many others?
Just me and Rhodey.
Oh,
Do you have room for 4 or no?
probably. Yeah, I can throw some crap on there.
Okay. Otherwise,
Is
I
she
can
here
take.
for drainage?
I can drive me and Brody.
Okay.
We could move
I'll
it
talk
up
to Steve.
on the agenda
See
for
if
her.
he's got
Would help.
other things he's.
What
We
if I'm doing?
missed you at
Okay.
coffee over there.
Yeah, I haven't been in a while now.
Yeah, and then she moved away from her dad. She doesn't care.
Cool.
You'll never be okay
Up there
again.
in Minnesota. I was up there on the 4th of July so we could go up and see their house up there. And it was just, the mosquitoes sounded like a squadron of B-52 bombers coming in.
It's that way everywhere.
It's that way here too.
No, I couldn't even stand still out at Sam's yesterday when we were trying to move the conveyor. He had it in the northeast corner of his grove, and he parked it on a slope. He was going to, and then he unhooked it, and it just kept rolling down the trees. And so I had to help him push it back up out of there and tilt it down so we could hook up to it. That's something you couldn't even stand still. I mean, there was just dozens of them bouncing off of me.
As long as I'm outside, Jason doesn't get bit.
Is that right? They all go to you?
The second I go in the house, he starts getting bit.
Last night,
Is it because they're going to you?
Yes.
last night laying under my truck on concrete, but it was near where water had stood. They were like giving me ear.
Hello, how are you? Andre.
It's just
Ready for the fascinating board meeting today?
I look like a buffet to them, so.
You go to that corner, right? Okay. I was stealing the free ride to Mason City, so. That's fair. Yeah.
That's so cozy. The closed section information.
No, I don't. Do you have the closed session information?
Yes, I do.
You know, just checking it, sorry.
I don't want to be caught off guard and say the wrong thing. I'm good at it. So are we all ready to go then?
Yep.
Okay, we'll stand and say the pledge of allegiance.
I'm not done texting.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consider for approval minutes and agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes and the agenda.
I'll second it.
I've got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the minutes and agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. 9 a.m. discussion of possible action, state line zoning or nuisance issue. And our attorney left.
Kelsey left.
Well, we can start the
You
discussion.
certainly can.
You want to start anything on it, or? I noticed last week, on Sunday, I went by again, and there's a lot of things turning over. Like, it's not the same stuff sitting there. There's a lot less stuff now, and I don't know what. If
So
you
by
either
stuff, you mean what?
Well, he seems to be sorting things. He's got a pile of this and a pile of that, and then all of a sudden a whole bunch of stuff disappears, and so it seems like you're rotating stuff.
Yeah,
in
I don't know. Well, I do know John Cruz has been calling, because he himself plainly said it right to my face that he's calling because he's mad that I got a dune buggy that he's trying to say is Roger Cruz's, but I got it from Corey Cox. Well, his son brought it out, and it was. You guys know most of these people that have owned it in the previous years, and he said either you give it to us or we're going to keep calling the county. And I said, well, no, you ain't going to get it. So keep calling if that's what makes you feel better. But like the stuff, like I don't know what when people drove by, but I had like maybe 3 weeks ago it made it look like a shithole. But I bought coolers out of a grocery store up in the cities, and I hauled it home, and it was there for less than a week, and it was all gone. Like it had aluminum copper radiators and copper pipe in it that I took out, and then once I had that out, and it was gone. It was just like, well, I hauled it in on a Tuesday. By the next following Monday, it was all gone. And I've had other stuff that I'd taken to the auction. That's what.
So it's more of a holding area, Benny?
Yeah, it's not really a holding area. It's like the cooler stuff because I had 2 days to get it out of the grocery store. So it was everything I could do for 2 days to get it out. So you load up a trailer load. It was left in the city. So by the time I get home, unload it, and it was dark, and then you go early the next morning to get the next load, and then. It sat there for 2 days because, well, one day was, just before the flooding happened over by Spencer. It was Red Car Show. I went there for that one day, and then I had to go pick up some stuff from an auction at another day, the next day, and then that weekend I worked on it, and by Monday it was all gone. So, and then I've been hauling stuff to an auction, but it's not. What's there now is mostly in toast, and I put it in my semi-trailer.
So let's just do a little back story here. It's zoned what, Carla? You've looked that up for us.
It was
I don't remember. Let me.
I think it was agriculture.
Egg.
Seems like it was agriculture now.
I just want to make sure, and so we have it on the record. So I guess another question we had was, So are you selling off of there?
I'm taking to auctions.
Okay. So it is kind of a staging area, and you sort it.
Well, see, I go to auctions, a lot of auctions. I go to auctions all over, and I buy stuff to resell. And I just buy it at an auction, and I'll take it to another auction because I know that I go over here to this auction, and I know it'll bring more over to this auction.
Well, I guess the issue is that it's zoned agriculture. It isn't zoned for you're actually operating your business out of that area, and in theory, it's supposed to be phased out as a business in that area because it's not zoned properly.
I don't really do it as a business. I just do it for something to do.
Well, yeah, but you're basically operating the business out of there, so it's. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean, the thing is that there's some neighbors that don't like the looks.
It's not the neighbors that are calling.
No.
It's this Ron and John Cruz. They're saying they're neighbors, but they're not. They don't even live in the adjoining counties. That's who's calling. The neighbors ain't calling because I know the neighbors.
Well, some of the neighbors, aren't they the ones that were concerned with this?
They were more concerned when it was Roger
Yeah.
Cruz there.
And I guess, to me, I'm not even necessarily against rezoning the area so you can operate your business out of there. But what has to be possibly done is it within the financial scope to be able to put a fence around it? A lot of places...
I'm not putting a privacy fence up because I gotta see the highway. If I hear traffic going and I cannot see the highway, I'll freak out.
But you see, the problem is there's a lot of people that don't like the looks of all the junk.
It's not junk.
And, well, yeah, in a sense, some of it is scrap iron, is it not?
What I have there is not.
Everything you bring in there, you resell. You're not scrapping or any.
I might have some like the stuff in the toaster, in the semi-trailer, away from people's eyes, and those are metals that I clean in the wintertime. That's what I live off in the wintertime.
Well, and the only way you can possibly make it to where it is eligible to be rezoned commercial is to probably, because most places that operate businesses like that have a fence around them so people don't have to look at it quite as much. Yeah, it doesn't bother me, probably not a lot, but some people, things like that do bother them.
I think one of the other problems the spring was, and then the summer, was the mud. It just looked horrible because.
Well, it looks horrible when there's muddy and I drive through the mud.
Yeah,
you haven't got a choice this year. You either don't do anything or you drive through the mud. So
it was unfortunate the weather didn't cooperate, but
yeah.
Everybody had that problem. We have lots of crops that look really bad too. So
we've been kind of anxious to hear what your thoughts are, Kelsey.
So as we discussed last time, I just need direction from you guys as to what you want to do. So I don't have any additional thoughts than what we've discussed previously. I think there are a couple of options, whether it's enforcing the code or you guys, will you open that? Sorry. Just totally lost my train of thought. A lot going on this morning already. Are we locking people out now? Thank you. Or trying to work, I know we talked about trying to work with Benny to figure out a solution that would allow him to continue his business, but also be in, compliance with the ordinances. So, I'm sorry, I had a work call and I missed that first part of the conversation here, but what have we discussed?
I started with what I saw there, that he has rotated a lot of stuff. There is not a lot of stuff there. It's just a pile of this, a pile of that. Like, there's a pile of old tractor seats together. Coordinated.
Tree stands.
Yeah. So it's not, to me right now, I think it's doing better than it did.
Okay.
I think he's rotating a lot of stock. It's just kind of like you said, staging area for temporary, then it goes to an auction.
And I think we talked about last time the idea of a fence, and I think I just walked in on that, which could alleviate some of the
So if there was a
aesthetic
fence, would it,
concerns.
I know you're not really interested in that, Benny, but just so for conversation, you know, if it was only on the highway side, or, you know, it wouldn't maybe have to be completely enclosed.
Sure.
You know, there might be just some sites
So-
that could be.
So I guess I look at it as if it ends up commercial, and he is required to put a fence up for when he's sorting things, say, I still think he's allowed to have a display of things for sale.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You
Yeah.
have to have a
Mechanism
visibility
for
from
advertising your
Yeah.
business, and
I was
because I
try-
think that's the other issue is the way it's zoned, right? Because we talked about whether it would need to be rezoned then to bring him into compliance if that's the route we want to take.
right. So it's not cut and
Well,
dry all
the
fence.
thing you'll have to,
No, right.
the thing you'll have to do then, in order to get, because I'm not against rezoning it, I'm not against anybody starting a business and operating a business, would be you would have to approach all the immediate neighbors and ask them if this is okay. It's kind of like people who build sheds in Buffalo Center. They got to go to the city council to get approval. If all their neighbors will approve one that has, you know, a taller, if you want to park a semi in it, it's got to be pretty tall. And then if all the neighbors sign off on it, then you can get it approved, which normally would be zoned for that building. And so if you can get all the neighbors to sign off on that business can operate there, and they don't have a problem with it, then we won't have a problem with rezoning it either. So,
But when you rezone, would that be the whole property or just a portion of it?
whatever
Because I'm going to be living there.
whatever needs to be rezoned. Well, you can live on commercial property, I believe, can't you?
Yeah.
I assume
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Because some of it is
So,
swamp.
I mean, we just rezone your property to fit your business, and then you can do whatever you want on there after that. It'll just be zoned commercial. We won't be in any violation anymore. But if you can get your neighbors to sign off on it all, and we don't have any kind of a dispute there, then it's easy. But if one of them is against it, then we have to go to the other options where it's possibly at least putting up a fence between where the neighbors can't see it from their property. And so the highway, to allow yourself some, and you say you like to be able to see what traffic is going by.
And then the taxes go up on it.
Like if you put up a fence,
No, commercial.
Commercial's a different.
well, that would be,
But they keep rolling back commercial tax too, so.
yeah, and it's not going to be a property that's going to be like a Christensen Farms, or where there's millions of dollars worth of value. So if you increase your property taxes, but it's still not going to be that much because the property taxes aren't going to be that high. I mean, the valuation of the property is never going to be millions of dollars, probably.
So the only thing that's going to be taxable is the land and any structures that are on it. They're not taxing what you have sitting there that's mobile.
So if you build a house there,
That'll be
it'll
taxable,
be,
whether it's
I'm
ag
just
or
building a
commercial.
cabin. I want to maybe someday own that White House in the corner. My idea that if I buy that White House in the corner, then I'd have a whole section.
Yeah.
so
But
legally, does he need to pursue a commercial zoning?
Well, if he wants to be in compliance, right now I would say he's not in compliance with the current ordinance, right? I mean, it's definitely qualifies as a junkyard.
no, not even
You
close.
have
Well,
to go by it yourself.
maybe not in your
Okay.
your eyes, but in most other people's eyes.
Based
it
on the
does.
pictures and information I had received previously, it would. And it feels like some days it's clean and some days it's not, right? And I mean, I understand that even from owning our own property, right? But
If he lived there, and there's people that have much worse than that, it's where they live.
right,
But it's unfortunate it's on that prime corner.
yeah. Well, and I think there's an exception for like agriculture, right? Under the like
So would he be
nuisance
better
stuff,
off-
like, and that's what most of those places probably fall under.
So
That have a
then,
bunch of equipment out, or this and that.
yeah, it doesn't look any worse than some farmyards.
Right.
So probably one thing that would really help if you were creative out there, had some artistic creativity with some of your things, that would probably be more of a tourism thing. People come in. There's a guy down in Mason City, just east of downtown, I think off State Street or one of those streets, that has a virtual junkyard. But he's created artwork within that junkyard. And it's bikes and stuff that all up on the fence and whatever. And so the city of Mason City has accepted that as it is. And, I commend you on what you've done so far to, maintain it. That's just my personal opinion because I've been by twice in the last week. And it changed in
And it's
those
better.
2 times by. It's gotten better, yeah. But, just creativity kind of sets the tone for the neighbors, They probably appreciate some creativity in that.
Well, if it stays cleaned up, then I don't know that you'll have the
and
same
the mud
complaints
hasn't
or
helped.
issues. Well, right, yeah, that's fair.
So,
Well, how much is it to rezone it as commercial, other than having the neighbors sign up? How many neighbors do you have to go? How far do you have to go to get neighbors to sign up?
Just the ones that can visibly see it from their own properties.
So basically, one neighbor, other than the ones that are joining it, and there's trees in the way.
yeah, there's a lot of trees.
Yeah.
Because none of, to the south there, the only neighbor that can really see it is the one, if you go across the highway, they're in that bend on Apple Avenue. It's the only neighbors, it's a Christensen that owns it.
Well, yeah. And I would ask them all anyway.
Okay.
This whole issue came to light when there was a more nefarious character there.
To the south,
Yeah.
on that other property.
Yeah,
And the only reason that they're calling the county is because their brother wanted to buy it, and his daughter told him where to go with that. With that idea.
Yeah.
Because you could imagine what he was going to do with it. That was when the people bitched about his place, which I can see why people bitch about his place with the shit in the road ditch and out on the road.
Yeah. Is there isn't much of a cost to rezoning anything. They just have to, I would assume it's just a meeting of the zoning commission or whatever.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that ordinance. I don't know that I've ever been involved in that, but I can't imagine it's.
It's not something that's going to cost hundreds of dollars.
I think it can be 2 different directions there. I think you can rezone it, or you could get a waiver of an adjustment to the current policies. That'd be 2 ways to go at it, I think. So, I guess if you look into what the possibilities are,
I can do
down
that.
the road.
Yeah,
And
under
maybe
the zoning
on
ordinance.
your part of it, since it's your area, are you okay with tabling for now? Keep an eye on it and find out what the options would be.
Well,
Because
I
the
guess
one to the south isn't. Yeah.
Well,
I guess what I would like to encourage Ben is to be as good a neighbor as you can be. Keep it as neat and clean as it can be. Because I see you mowing, I see you moving dirt. You're trying to make it into a better looking spot. So, and I have not gotten a lot of calls recently, like we did when Mr. Cruz was on the other property.
has that been cleaned up yet?
Oh yeah.
Mr. Cruz's property has been.
Oh yeah. There's been people there to help themselves, namely his half brothers, and I may have helped his son move some stuff because ordered from their mom's for their mom's death. Their attorneys for their mom's side had letters for them to help move the asses to a secure location, but no.
So I guess
So-
to answer your question,
So
I really-
it doesn't look like nothing like it used to.
Well,
no.
well, it's just
I'd be
really your
willing
problem.
to-
I just was curious.
Yeah, it's not his problem, but that's why the neighbors were so concerned, and that's also why they were still so focused on yours, because they were scared. I just put it honestly, they were frightened.
Most of them are just glad that I have and not Roger Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially now. But,
So I'd be willing to table it with a little bit more information on the commercial zoning and what steps we would have to take.
Or the possibility of a waiver
Or
of some sort.
yeah.
and,
Because
and
I'm not sure the neighbors are gonna still be all for it, to go and get people to sign off on something.
Could we do that, table it for 2 weeks? Because that would
Sure.
be my non-court Tuesday morning.
No, that's fine. I don't
So that'd be the
think,
23rd, Carla?
I don't think it's an immediate
No,
need
no.
right
Well, that
now.
gives me
It's
a
been going
deadline
on
too
for-
to work off.
If
so
it was
that
getting worse and worse out there, it'd be a different story.
Sure.
But for right now,
So
I
if
think
you'd like to be here, Benny, on the 2 weeks from now,
2 weeks from now?
then we'll have more information on the commercial stuff and what it might cost you, and we don't want to, we want business in Winnebago County, so if we can figure out a good solution, we'll work it out.
And
Okay.
if the neighbors don't have a problem with it, then there really isn't a problem. But that's the only real concern is if they have some kind of a problem, then we'll have to work through that. But,
I think part of it was the city fathers of Emmons. It's kind of the gateway to Minnesota there,
Oh, I might with them too.
Well, I think we
Okay,
have some
do we have a
direction
time?
here.
Do we need a time for that?
Let's do it right away at
If
9
you could
o'clock
do it at
again.
9, that's
Yeah.
usually
Is that,
easier.
if that's available.
Yeah.
So the date is
Yeah.
24th?
That's right.
23rd, I think.
23rd.
23rd at 9 a.m.
All right. If available.
Yes.
Yeah. If you just let me know, Carlo.
Let me know.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got to keep moving. We got a lot going on today.
Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks. Thanks, Ben. Okay, number 3, discussion of possible action, attorney moving office to basement.
So I've talked to each of you individually about this, but wanted to put it on the agenda so we could actually have a discussion about it. I know Ruth is planning to move out of there sometime early fall is my understanding. I don't know if that's been decided specifically. So I know we talked about the reasons that we're proposing to move down there, namely the victims that we deal with on a weekly, if not daily basis, giving them some privacy and things like that. I won't rehash all of that unless you want to hear it all. But I just wondered if you guys had any questions or thoughts. So I will say we do expect it to take us quite some time to actually transition. So if you're going to allow us to do that, the sooner the better, just so we could start doing some of the things we could do now, like figuring out the glass for the window down there, moving some of our stuff down there if possible. We do have jury trials coming up that involve victims, and our office is frankly a disaster. I mean, we don't even have anywhere to put anybody at this point, so if we could start transitioning. I know some of the other offices are looking at some of the equipment, like desks down there. Carla, I think you had your eye on one, and I know Julie had some that she wanted, so we could even start, figuring that stuff out ahead of time before September or whenever it is that Ruth would actually be moving to public health. And I don't think that date's certain. That's just the month I had heard was maybe September. So just wondered if you guys had any thoughts or plans or anything like that. Or questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Shauna Eastwood, recorder. I anticipate that we have some construction that's going to be happening in our office, and just wondering where we would relocate when that construction is going on, because we'll still have to be open for business and be able to have access to the public. So if that office is open, I would assume that would be a good fit to do that during that temporary transition. But just wanted to put that
What's
out
the
there.
timing on that?
It'll be next winter.
Okay.
by then, the office upstairs will be open.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know what that plan was. I just wanted to understand where we would be located if she is moving down there, which is totally fine. I think it's a good fit for you. Just wanted to make sure we had a location during that construction.
We'll just make sure we don't load her offices up with junk in the meantime.
Yeah, because we'll have to
The whole
function as
office,
an
I
office Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
As long as we know it's in the plan, then nobody will move any stuff. Because it was thought of, some of the stuff he'd stored up there, I think was talked about at one time.
I think there are a lot of different options for our office that we've sort of talked about a little bit. Like Carlos talked about election stuff, leaving it open for storage, you guys moving up there because it is a little bit of a bigger space if you take that middle wall out.
That wall didn't used to be there. It
Right.
was added when we got a county
I think when
attorney
Adam,
full-time.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
talked
so
about
there's
Brody being up there.
Brody being up there in one of the rooms and storage in the other. I mean, I think there are a lot.
We've
There's a
talked
lot
about
of
a lot of
potential.
things.
Yeah, a lot of potential use for that. Obviously, it opens up some of that.
I guess for the agenda today, it's more the use of the space down the basement.
Right.
Upstairs.
Yeah, because
There's a
I
lot
don't
of steps
think.
before we get to the other stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Is I don't think everything has to be decided at one time.
We all like to have a master plan, but
sort of some ideas.
Sometimes we have to be flexible.
Yeah, and we did. This is kind of very wonderful sketch of. This is actually.
She's become an architect.
She has become an architect. Don't judge it too terribly hard because this was a free program off the internet. But it is actually pretty much to scale. So, and it's exactly what we talked about when we walked each of you through the space down there. But just so you can actually visually see.
These are the existing 2 doors?
Those are the existing doors. Obviously the window here, that's some weird little coat storage, I think is what it currently is. You can kind of see where we would position desks. This we have the bottom right corner we have earmarked for storage because our thought was even if we just use the partitions to partition off that section for storage as opposed to like spending money to build a wall or anything down there. I mean, that would be an option. And then, of course, it doesn't show the private meeting room that would be off to that side over there. And then this would be our, area that we currently use for, like, our kiddos when we're prepping them for trial and whatnot.
Then you have money in your budget to get the glass and things like
So
that.
that would be through the sheriff's budget, which I've talked to Sheriff Hepperly about that. There's that specific budget, and Carla will be able to probably answer this better, but that some of is it like commissary and room and board money goes to this budget that can only be used for very specific reasons, one being courthouse security, and since that's exactly what the purpose would be. And my understanding is there's plenty of money in that budget fund. I haven't done any work to see how much it would cost to do because I didn't want to get ahead of myself either, but that's one of the things that we would start working on if we knew we were going to have that space. And then we don't plan to spend any other money if at all possible. We plan to use existing desks and equipment, the existing partitions. I self-fund our kid corner, or we receive donations for that. We don't use any county money for that stuff for the most part, and I would continue to do that, obviously. So yeah, other than the window, it should be a no or very, very, very low cost transition.
There's no
From our
other
end.
security on the windows that are down there, the other windows?
So I know we talked about like an egress window, but was that more if we were going to split the room up to have the second, because right now we have
this, you have 2 exits.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't be worried about that, frankly. So I don't think we would need to do that, at least not at this point.
But it's not impossible to put an egress in it.
Right, if for some reason we felt it was necessary, but
When we started talking about this a couple of years ago, not you being there, but
I was oblivious.
better use of the space.
Yeah.
Because it's really good space.
Yeah, it is.
Just for the backstory is we
It's
talked
been-
about moving this boardroom.
It's space
Down
that's been
there.
underutilized for some time.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
too nice
I
a
would agree with
space
that.
to not be used. But after talking to you, just my opinion, I think this is a great use of that space.
Okay. And for some perspective, I think we looked We have had 5 different minor victims of sex-related crimes in our office within the last month. Like, so that's how often we're using this space. I mean, it's literally weekly, if not daily basis that we have victims in that in our current space have absolutely no privacy whatsoever. It's just such a terrible setup. Used to work, but you know, we've evolved in trying to enhance our victim services and things like that. So we've totally outgrown that space.
Unnamed office, what's that for?
Oh, so that is, yeah, you confused me for a second. So we would propose keeping that as a separate office space. So we oftentimes, like when we have jury trials, we will have our DCI agents or our deputies or whatever officers who have to stay the whole time so they can set up and work there. We have attorneys on some cases that are guardian ad litems for kiddos. So like when we have those child victims of especially like sex abuse or physical violence, child endangerment, we have attorneys that represent those kids and they have to stay the whole trial so they could utilize that space. Another thing, when we do have jury trials, which is once a month typically, we have to keep all of our witnesses separated before they testify. So it's almost impossible in our current space. We manage it, but that's by putting people in hallways and whatever. So that would be another space that, you know, people could work out of while they're waiting to testify and things like that. It just seems like silly to get rid of. There are several desks up there. We would just use one of them that's already up there.
Well, I think if we can coordinate use of equipment with the different offices
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
things like that, I think I have no problem with it. Bill, do you have a...
Oh, I guess the supervisors have gotten by here for a couple of years. Actually, I like the view here better than down there.
From the basement.
If we could do away with
So when
that
I'm daydreaming, I can watch
Yeah.
people go by, or if I'm annoyed by something you guys are saying, I can look out. But yeah, no, it seems like probably the best use for that area.
So I have.
Lori Hassford, Clerk of Court. I know we're just talking about the basement right now, but the use of the current victim witness room upstairs used to be used for overflow for county attorney, attorneys with their witnesses, whomever, law enforcement would come with defendants. We'd be interested in getting that room back to be used for what it was used before the victim witness coordinator had it. And that's the small room that
in the south hallway there.
Yeah.
The little closet that Audrey's stuck in right now.
Is otherwise your spaces up there sufficient for what you do?
You're talking for the clerk's office?
Yeah.
We have conference rooms that are needed on court service days, and people jockey for that space. So that room was utilized previously for those sorts of things, and now it's not available because it's being used by the...
Which room was?
The south room.
We're
Audrey's
Audrey's office.
Yeah.
All right.
So Audrey's office used to be used for court-specific days and uses.
But other than that, you have sufficient, I mean, there wouldn't be any enhancement to your...
We have no need for the county attorney's current location.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
No.
And I would support that office going back to court use because I agree, on court days, the attorneys are struggling to find a place to meet with their clients. And then also, if I'm in the basement, I would utilize that space sometimes too for trial and whatnot. So I think it's a good use. It's a very small. It can only be used for conference or storage. I mean, you're not going to get much more out of it. So.
All right. Well, I think we've kind of come to a conclusion here. So, do we need to have action on this, or I mean, it's not like we're expending money right now, or...
Yeah, I don't think so, as long as I have your blessing.
Give you the approval to start
Yeah.
the transition.
Yeah, and then I'll work with Julie and Carla and whomever else has their eye on anything down there. If we have any problems, we'll bring it to your attention. I don't anticipate that at all. So we plan to
think that
move
would
like
be
tennis
nice
desks
if-
down and stuff.
If
So.
everything could be utilized, it's nice stuff down there.
Yeah.
We need to make sure it gets used.
Yeah, and that's
somewhere.
our plan, is to use as much of it as possible. So.
It's good space.
Yeah, we're excited about it, to be honest. So, And then like you can see the partitions and stuff. We'll have that. It'll be fully private for our victims and law enforcement when they're in talking with us, so the public can't see them and stuff. So yeah, we're very excited.
So you're going to figure out a way to make the partitions go to the ceiling in some
I
of those spaces?
I don't think so. I don't know. That's one of the things we'll have to play around with to see if it's necessary or not. My bigger concern is blocking from the public view from the window who can see like our kiddos in the back or any people we're meeting with, not just kids, but primarily the kids.
Unless they're bouncing to the ceiling.
Yes, hopefully. We don't plan to install any trampolines or anything, so there will be toys and activities if anybody needs a break in their day, but no trampolines. So we'll just have to figure out the best way. And I know when we looked at those partitions, it looks like you can reconfigure them. I don't know if it's easy or not.
There's different
I think it
sizes.
is,
You're
but
not going
yeah.
to have that bouncy house that you had out at your place?
I don't think so. It might not quite fit. We might need to, knock a wall down for that. But
And I do feel like it's very quiet, like the sound, like with
Yeah.
the partitions.
It's
It's
got
very
really good
soundproof
it
acoustics.
down
does
there.
seem like it. Yeah, I've thought that too when we've been down there
Mhm.
talking and stuff. So, and we'll have to mess around with that if something's a problem, we'll figure it out. So.
All right. Well, we've got a 9:30 scheduled here, so we have to, it's the last one on the agenda, or towards the end. It's number 12. So I think we come to a solution here, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 9:30 a.m. Veterans Affairs to discuss with possible action, quarterly report.
Hello.
Morning.
Ready for me?
Yeah, you're up.
Thank you.
You have your agenda, scroll. Carla,
What?
scroll back now.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, we came down for about 2 days, so.
Okay. I'm just going to go over this briefly, and then I'll get into, there's been some law changes that are very significant for my office, but you can see basically everything is staying very consistent, which is, I think, a great indication of veterans being served in our community. Currently have 63 active cases. I go from 63 to 65. I did bounce to 70, but the VA has finally started making some decisions, so I'm able to close some cases. I'm going to skip over number 1 because we'll be doing the law, but I've had some really good training opportunities. We do our spring training in April, then I did national training virtually, and then I just had my District 5, which is the surrounding counties, and I just find training to be really worthwhile. The networking and camaraderie is one of the best things because we share information with one another. I've been working a lot with Jim from Hancock, and he just became full-time July 1st, and he's just doing an awesome job. So that's taking things off of me. The Hancock that I was covering, I'm letting them know about Jim. Some of them have stopped to see him, and so they will be going to Jim permanently. So we had our second Home Base Iowa recipient in April, and we were able to do a little presentation of my office with the incentives. So that was really cool. And then just before the quarter ended, I got to meet with Brenda Safransky, and she's the Special Assistant for Veterans and Military Affairs for Senator Ernst's office. She was making kind of a loop around all the surrounding counties and just talking to VSOs about what's going on in our offices, things that she can take back to the senator. So it was good to be able to share some frustrations and just some things that I see in my office that could run a little more smoothly. And then she was able to give me some really valuable resources that I can use to help veterans. The claim numbers, or the number of compensation and pensions that are coming into the county, continues to increase. It's now up to $324,185, and that was at the end of May. That was the most recent that I have numbers for. Most significant is when I was at spring school in April, Governor Reynolds came to the last day, and she signed into law several House bills that were pending. And so one of the most important, and I've included all of them for you, but it is now mandatory for every veteran service officer in the state of Iowa to have that security clearance card, that personal identification verification, and you have to get it now within 1 year of being hired, and you must maintain it. failure to obtain it or maintain it is grounds for termination. So
maintaining
is you just have to make sure that you're still accredited, and when it expires, you have to get it renewed and continue to meet.
There's continuing education involved.
Yes.
I was going to say there must be something that goes along with it,
Yes.
otherwise it would just be renewed.
Right,
And
right.
and
No.
that comes at a cost, and they provide all the money for that then? Otherwise, that's called an unfunded mandate.
Yeah, no, I don't,
I've never heard
no.
of those.
My favorite.
No.
We just keep going on about those.
We just do the training. We didn't have to pay for anything else, just the training. And I have to stay nationally accredited.
Yeah.
And so the national training gave me that accreditation with the National Association
I
of...
just like to use my dates.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
That gives you access
To my
private.
cases. Yes, I can actually see the veterans' files if I'm actually working an active claim, which has been really important lately because there's been some really poor decisions and there's been a lot of lagging, so I've been able to go in and check. We now have this really wonderful portal where we can go in. Like, I've had people, the VA saying that they didn't have the direct deposit information for my veterans, even though we sent the voided check. So this portal's been great because we just go in and we say, hey, we sent it, it's in there. They go in and work their magic in a way that I can't, and then they've straightened it out. So that is one of the biggest changes. Again, the other one was that we have to satisfy continuing education requirements in order to maintain the PIV card, which is the training that I'm mandated to do anyhow. The other big change was that in addition to that $10,000 allocation, they're going to annually allocate an additional $3,000 for national training and related expenses. The ones that went to national training this last year spent a fortune because it was in Colorado, so it was an expensive plane ticket. The hotel was really expensive. This next year it's in Lexington, Kentucky, so that might be a little bit easier. The important thing to note with that is that if it does not cost that much to go, that money then goes right back to that big pool and statewide, and then it just stays in there for that, because people coming from California will probably pay more than somebody were just Iowa to Kentucky for next year. So that was the other big change. One of the other ones was just like a correction to the medical certificate cause of death, and that's just something that's pertinent to veteran service officers, because oftentimes if we don't feel like the cause of death reflects what was really going on, if the medical examiner is willing to look at more information, that may make a big difference in whether that widow can receive a better compensation pension. So those were the highlights. It's been a very busy quarter. I felt like the numbers were good. I was out of the office a lot in April just because of various trainings, which, like I said, are valuable, but when you're gone. I will note that our requests for local financial assistance have been more consistent since January than since I've been here. And I think that's just the economy. People having difficulty, paying utilities, having to make decisions about things. So I've definitely seen that increase. I don't know, any questions from anybody?
No, you're doing a good job.
There hasn't been any inflation.
Yeah, tell that to all of our bank accounts.
I heard that at the debate.
Yeah. Well, I was, sometimes my veterans, when I shouldn't say only, but they just get like for ringing in their ears, I tease them because it's like $176 a month. And I said, well, now you can go to Walmart and get 2 extra bags of groceries, or maybe 1, depending on what you put in your cart. But honestly, for some of them, even $176 is making a difference to, cover gasoline or groceries or whatever with all especially some of our older veterans that are kind of on a fixed income. So, yeah, that's a blessing to be able to help them out that way. So, well, thanks for your support of my
Do we have to act on this?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Veterans Affairs quarterly report.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion from Genvold and a second from Smith to approve the quarterly report from Veterans Affairs. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks for the extra information.
You're very welcome. If you have any questions, just give me a call or shoot me an email. I'm happy to clarify as I can and get to the answers if I don't have them. So, thanks so much.
2 minutes.
Do you need
Stamp
a
mine.
stamped one?
Approved, please.
Oh,
I wrote on mine.
And I haven't changed the date yet. I'm
Oh my
slacking over here.
goodness.
Well, while you're holding up the meeting, I'm going to move forward.
All right.
I guess we're up to number 4, possible closed session to discuss the purchase or sale of particular real estate pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51J. Okay, I gotta get my glasses off.
Signature?
Possible closed session to discuss the purchase or sale of particular real estate pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.5I or 1J. We're going to go into closed session for this matter and confirm it is my understanding that the Board of Supervisors request that this matter proceed in closed session.
Yes.
Yes. We will determine as a board that there will be discussion of this item and discuss the purchase of real estate. Closed session for discussion of potential purchase of particular real estate is necessary because premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the price the county would have to pay for the property. I move the discussion of the potential.
I think
That's the other way.
Did you use an old one?
I
'Cause
didn't know if we were
provide a new one.
including the other. So the sale, it should be all
Yeah.
sale. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I'll stand corrected. I'll read this again. Closed session for the discussion of a potential sale of particular real estate is necessary because premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to decrease the price the county would have to receive for the property. I move that the discussion of potential sale of particular real estate shall be made in closed session because premature disclosure could reasonably expected to decrease the price the county would expect to receive for the property. That was my motion.
I'll second that.
I have a motion from Derby and a second from Smith. It's written down so I don't lose it. To go into closed session. Okay, it has been moved to hold a closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51J, and the members of the board have voted. No, we haven't voted yet, so we have to do a roll call vote.
Yes, please. Derby.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Jensvold.
All right.
Okay.
All right. It has been moved to hold a closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51J, and the members of the board have voted unanimously to hold the closed session. I ask that all persons other than the supervisors, county attorney, county auditor, and I'm guessing the county engineer, leave the room until we come into open session again.
That will be you, Mackenzie.
You're kicked out.
You have to leave.
You can sit right
And
outside.
shut the door.
And shut the door. I can shut the door.
Thank you.
Okay.
The big switchover.
Okay. Stop that. Stop that.
Snowflakes are back.
Come back in.
I don't know where she went. I don't even see her out there.
Maybe she was laying in the pew.
All right, and then this is the worst part. I can't ever remember how to go
Make the motion to go back and
Well,
into.
she's got to do that functionally.
There we go.
All right. Is it up and going?
Not yet. There we go.
Okay, so now I can do the bold.
Yep.
Let the minutes reflect that we are now back in open session. The closed session has been concluded by agreement of parties. No matters were discussed other than the potential sale of particular real estate for which this closed session was taken. No votes were taken or any other action. There being no further discussion, is there a motion to end the closed session?
I'll make a motion to close the session.
End the closed
End
session.
the closed session.
I'll second it.
We've got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to end the closed session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, so now we go on to our next item. Discussion with possible action matters discussed in closed session. So we're looking for a motion to proceed with the sale of the property.
Properties.
For all properties.
All properties, yeah.
I'll make a motion to proceed with the sale of all properties as an online auction.
In 4 parcels.
In 4 parcels, yes.
Okay, with Central States.
Yep.
All right.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to proceed with the sale of 4 parcels of property through online auction through Central States Agency.
I think for the minutes we could also mention it's Sunnyside, about 80 acres. It's the 4 city shop, 2 buildings, 4 stall garage, and the 2 salt sheds.
Okay, so your motion would include the definition of what those parcels are.
Sure.
Okay,
All right. Did we vote?
you got it then?
Yep.
All right. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you.
All right,
Fun moving.
number 6.
Probably
what you
when I
need
need
is a
some
little
muscle.
Yeah. Just
Scott
need a little
Meyer,
extra work.
engineer, will discuss secondary road
Thank
matters.
you.
The 2 things I was going to mention today is the bid letting for the building is Friday at 10 o'clock. We'll be doing that downstairs in my office unless there's too many people. I don't know how many people show up for that. But we'll wait until the time down there. If we got too many people, maybe we'll move up here or something. But
Did you guys have to, I suppose you identified that, but I suppose you can legally move it to a more available space.
I think
As
so.
long as the address is the same.
Right, and we stay down there till the time for receiving bids.
Yeah, everybody should be there by then, so.
Yep. So you're welcome to attend that if you guys are interested. I think we've got a lot of interest from contractors, so
Good.
I'm excited to hopefully receive a lot of bids.
It's nice to get this bidding process done before the hurricanes really hit. So that's when prices go up.
Yeah. I guess if anything, I've heard that prices have leveled out this year compared to the last few, so that's in our favor. And I guess the reason why we're pushing to, move with the project. Just a reminder, we're taking bids on general, mechanical, and electrical, so we'll have bids for each package, and we'll award each of those packages to the low bidder for each package.
And it's your job to coordinate those.
Right.
So you're the general.
Right. The general package does have multiple trades, so there's some coordinating there too, but ultimately we'll be on site to try and coordinate between the 3 different packages.
All right.
And anything else on that? And then the other thing is,
How about the purchase of property? Where are we at on that?
everything is waiting at the attorney's office. The survey's done, the abstract's done, just need a title opinion and closing documents.
Yeah, that's usually the hang-up.
Yeah, purchase agreement was signed, several weeks ago, so.
What attorney?
Laird Law Firm in Mason City. So I have to keep on her. We need to get that done.
You better call every day.
And
We're
yeah.
flared before.
And then the other thing is we surveyed out at Rice Lake a little bit a couple years ago for the access road, and so we've now started to contact Isaac Walton and the DNR about getting those road right-of-way easements transferred to the county. So some of those have been sent out. Rice Lakes might wait a little bit because we have some more pieces in the subdivision to also address. Laird Law Firm's also helping me with some of that stuff. So that's started.
What kind of a time frame do you think is going to happen?
I would hope to have all of the right-of-way documents and everything signed and finalized and out of the way by, December, so that we're kind of clear to do a bid letting and move forward with the project as we've talked, but not before we address some of these items.
So are we going to have to get together with the landowners out there and have a meeting with them?
We sent a letter out a couple weeks ago kind of telling them what our goals were for the project, and it included getting some right-of-way squared away. I think it would be nice to have a couple meetings out there as we kind of get into it to talk through people's concerns. I've met a couple people out there already who had reached out to me.
Can we do it at the clubhouse so that
Probably
everyone
could,
can
yeah.
show up and if it's raining?
Yeah, so we sent the letter out for people to register their email addresses, and that didn't get the turnout I was hoping for, but if you get a letter and you don't follow directions, then there's not a whole lot we can do to keep in contact with you. So the people who want to know what's going on will have the opportunity to.
So did you send them to the Rice Lake addresses only?
All of the addresses in the Lakeside Coupe subdivision past the clubhouse, we sent them to the clubhouse, the Isaac Walton, and everything all the way down to the Blacktop.
Okay. Because I know there's some people that don't get their mail out there. So if you use those addresses.
I think we looked up the mailing addresses that their tax statements
Okay.
went to.
Okay.
And then the letter said which address it was corresponding to out of the subdivision.
Okay. You did it.
That's all I got today, I think.
That'll be a pretty big project.
Yeah, just have a lot of little details to make sure that each person,
Would be a lot of tree removal along the park.
We're getting quotes on tree removal from basically the clubhouse entrance all the way back to the
Hikes.
834. But yeah, right back to Hikes basically. And hopefully, our budget can include that. Probably not as part of the project, but a separate contract related to the project to basically clear from center line 33 feet all the trees.
Is that all qualified under TIF funding?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
If it's related to the project.
Development of the road right away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? You guys have anything for Scott?
Nope. What's going on with mowing though? Boy, there's still a lot of mowing to do, huh?
Yeah, so we got started with the last week of June, or did we get maybe 2 weeks of June? I think just the last week of June. And it takes probably 6 weeks for us to make a full county if everybody's here and working. And you can't really count the 4th of July week because that's when we kind of promote people to be gone and use up time from the winter. So yes, we have quite a bit of mowing to do, as we always do at this time of year.
I always have complaints about the wild parsnip.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make sure I register that complaint again. Not necessarily your problem, but the mowing does help some,
That's just the road side.
Hard to say. I know, but it does help some.
Friday night I had to call. I called Ethan on a water over a road that didn't get marked, and the one was a level B road, and they had Brent go out there, and I think he put up one on the main road, but technically, I mean, if we didn't know about it, it wouldn't be so much of a liable thing, but being the guy called me, I'm like, well, I suppose we're going to put up a sign. And I don't think Brent was going to put up a sign. I thought of it afterwards, on the level B road, because the level B road already has enter at your own risk.
Yeah.
So does that cover us for water over the road? If someone was to come roaring at night from the west going east, and then you could come up and possibly not see that, and there was actually more water over the level B road, deeper than it was over the level A road.
Yeah.
So does that enter at your own risk sign cover us for that, or would not putting up a barricade there also make us liable?
The signs cover us for liability, but if we know about something like that, we would address it as soon as we could.
Yeah.
Just because we know the practicality of the matter is people are used to it being at least serviceable, and if it's a surprise, it
so
can
we
be dangerous.
probably should have put one up on the level B also, a barricade with a flashing light. Or
I mean, not necessarily barricaded with flashing light. Things like this, a lot of times we'll just put a flag in the side of the road just to kind of get some attention out there. We don't have 1,000 barricades, and you know, when an event like this, we need to mark 77 locations or whatever it is.
I mean, basically all you needed is something to warn you there to slow down, because the road wasn't washed out.
Yeah.
So whoever wanted to go down that road could drive through it slowly, easy enough. So barricading the whole road off wouldn't necessarily make sense.
Right.
Just something like a flashing thing sitting there that says that, hey, I better slow down and see what's going on here. But if you came up on it too fast in the dark, the people that drive on the road in the dark at night anyway are usually drunk. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, scenario like that, we'll mark it as soon as we know about it, and we'll get it touched up, bladed, just in our first work day.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of irons in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we all.
I like.
Hi, Chris. We're ready
I like
for you.
construction.
The guy that called it in on Friday night was out. He goes out on level B roads and lets his dogs out, and then he drives alongside them as they get there. So
Oh.
I suppose the dogs got wet. Yeah, I never did tease him about that.
Mm-hmm.
But
All right.
Do we have an auction date set up at all? I mean, do we have a proposed auction dates?
For the properties?
Yeah.
No, we won't do that until
more things are.
get shop underway or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to need these properties, or 3 of the properties anyway for now.
Mm-hmm.
Won't be available for sale until next year.
Right,
3 of them
and
anyway.
Sunnyside too, we got to do some work out there as well. We got piles out there. We got.
Is it dry enough to work out there on those piles though and stuff, or is with all the rain?
Sunnyside?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I mean, the
Nothing's
yard's
dry.
the yard's fine, but if we want to do any work to shape up the pits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How? You said you had to make it where the drop off wasn't so big.
I'd say more just check, because in just looking at it real quick, it's
looks like
they over time, right? Things kind of just
kind of go down in. Yeah, it's because I could see where if you dug it straight down and you were standing on the edge, you could end up plunging.
We'll leave the property in kind of a safe condition, whatever it takes to do that.
Yeah.
Because they'll have to set up viewings, I'm sure.
I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Scott.
Okay. Auditor's office will discuss drainage matters. Please.
I told Carla I didn't have anything, so if you had something to call me.
Oh, well, yeah, we got called on one up by Ray that he thinks maybe the tile is plugged, but there's just not water in
I
it.
think nobody knows. Nobody has been able to get into it to see what's
Right,
going on.
right.
Did we ever find out for FEMA what the timeline is to?
No, I should check that.
So what 90 days was thrown around, but I don't know that we found that out for sure.
Okay, I'll check that out.
That tile also dumps into the DD-21 main, so,
Oh,
I mean, it's.
and that could be backed up.
Yeah, it's like I went by the golf course on my way here, and there's still water slowly bubbling up out of the intake that's supposed to be in the ditch, so you can just see the water. It's just.
Yeah.
So it is.
How is the pond? Because that overflowed, right?
It's still overflowed, not as bad as it was, but it's gone down some. But,
Okay.
yeah.
It just doesn't help that we keep getting rain.
No.
Because it just dumps down.
That
And the
problem that we
ground
had
can't hold anymore. So.
out at the county farm across from Hesh's, that water is still running on alongside the road, running on the road.
And that just goes like downhill, doesn't it? So it's
So it's
the
coming
land
out
on the
of
north
that
side.
field,
Yeah.
or ditch field, running for 50 yards.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, this wide, running like a fire hose.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
All right, that's it.
Okay. Sounds good. I will check that out.
I'm gonna take a quick break and we'll come back with the reporters. Quarterly report.
Oh, okay.
Somebody still wants fireworks, huh?
I don't know if we should approve that one. He's kind of an interesting character.
Oh, I don't know who that is. No.
You know who it is?
No, I don't.
It's one of our deputies.
Oh. That's funny. Are they doing it out at the campground or something?
I don't know where he's doing it at.
Yeah, it's at his house.
Is it at his house in town there?
Yeah.
Doesn't the city approve that then?
It's not in town.
Oh, well, he lives in town though.
It's not what it says here.
Oh, he must have an acreage outside of town somewhere. Huh. What's the address?
You're not supposed to say deputies' addresses on camera.
That's not where he lives.
I don't know.
It's not a secret, in a sense. His car's parked out in front of there all the time. But yeah, no, don't say it. Then just you can show it to me. I'm just curious to where the actual property is at. I think I know which acreage it is now.
Did she have her report here or is she bringing it?
Bill's got it.
Oh, okay.
Bill's got them all.
Sure. He loves to be in control.
Well, I am, but sometimes just for humility's sakes, I let you guys pretend like you're in control.
Thanks for that.
I'll let the world know.
Yeah. If you believe that, I've got some really good land in Florida to sell you, isn't that what they always say?
Well, you can throw it on the auction if you want.
There you go.
That for the coast of Texas.
Yeah.
We have friends down in Texas that are near that, and they have that, site where you can say you're okay, so your families can check it and stuff.
My dad's brother lives down there, and geez, they had like 20 inches of rain here not that long ago. I can't remember if it was still in May or what, but it's just like, can you imagine getting 20 inches of rain? Bad enough, we get 6 or 7 around here.
Carla, how long do you think those renovations for the recorder's office will possibly take? Weeks?
Like a couple days.
That's
It's
what I was
mostly
thinking.
plaster, and do you have electrical too?
Probably some electrical, but
But I mean, it's not going to be weeks.
no. If we do a room at a time, it shouldn't take that long. I can't imagine that they, I don't know.
I'll make a motion to approve the recorder's quarterly report.
Second.
Got a motion from Jensel and a second from Smith to approve the recorder's quarterly report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried.
I'll make the motion to approve the sheriff's quarterly report.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensel to approve the sheriff's quarterly report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Auditor's quarterly report.
I'll make a motion to approve the auditor's quarterly report.
Parking lot tickets.
Oh, now I know where she's at. She's sitting in the gazebo. I was going to say earlier, she said you might go out there.
Who's that?
McKinsey.
Oh,
I'll second the motion to approve the auditor's quarterly report.
Got a motion from Jensel and a second from Smith to approve the auditor's quarterly report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
you know, honestly, they could probably move in here.
That's what I was thinking. You know, we're only here
Yeah.
just briefly.
And we move up there.
What's that?
And we move up there.
Well, you could move it, just do the meeting in my office. We've done that a lot.
Yeah, unless, we
when you
did
get
that.
people.
If there's
Nice and
nothing,
close.
if there's nothing on the agenda, we've done it
Yeah.
in my office.
Yeah, if there's not gonna be 30 people there, we'll be fine.
Right.
You know.
If there's something exciting on the agenda, then we'll move it to the courtroom.
Yeah, no, it would be a lot easier for them to use this.
Yes, but
That's, I was
but
thinking
then we'd
that.
still have that room up there, her old office.
Yeah.
That's true
That'd be
too.
a simple one to move to if we needed.
If you,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we need to.
But that, she'll be done long before any of this
It'll
happens. So,
take a-
yeah. And even if that was empty up there, I'd still rather do it here because it would be easier.
Yeah, it took a week at the most probably to do their office. It just won't take long.
Do you have a contractor already lined up for that?
Matt,
Schmidt?
yeah,
And
he's been
probably the
doing
same
it.
electrician.
Yeah, and Arvin. It's been going so smooth.
Consider for approval fireworks permit for Brandon Bankston.
Where's that?
Oh, I should have
located?
known that. That's right. That's relation to it. Where it's actually at.
Oh, you just looked it up?
Yeah. But we're not supposed to say. Well, and that's not his address. Somebody else lives there, but it's relative of his. But I'll make a motion to approve the fireworks permit for Brandon Bingston,
I'll
despite
second.
my reservations.
All right, I've got a motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve the fireworks permit for Brandon Bankston. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Open forum.
So from now on, so not this one, but probably the next one, like places like this where there's resolutions, we'll have to sign all of them because we're gonna not be putting in scanned copies, we're gonna be putting in the actual Word documents. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Just like to keep your hands busy, Terry.
Yeah, well, that's only for another few months, and then it's somebody else's job.
This stuff here for the EMT and paramedic and supervisor. This is just received,
Approved.
or is that approved?
Approved, please.
Do we have the fireworks permit?
Did we already? Yes.
Let's keep it in order.
Oh, no, here, we all gotta sign this. That's right.
Did you want that on the agenda to actually approve it, or did?
We've already kind of approved it in a sense. Was this
What is it?
The EMT.
the
Set.
raises and stuff, the new
raises.
salaries
Yeah, we
and stuff?
approved it.
We could, yeah.
Didn't we approve it?
Did you already?
Joe was here and he had to go.
Yeah, he left during the meeting because he had
Yeah.
a call.
That was that
Maybe
meeting.
I was gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
We approved it, but you weren't a part.
Okay.
All right, so I can stamp it approved already then, and we just.
Well,
need
if
to-
you've already, have you already stamped one approved?
That one, yeah. We
Yeah,
stamped his,
yeah.
we stamped his
He took it
numbers
with-
and stuff.
Yeah,
Did he take it with him?
That's why you haven't
Then I
seen
need
it.
one for my file.
okay.
I
all
would
right, so
expect that he
So
would have
this
taken
is
it
this
with
is
him.
what we just need to stamp it and say.
Yes.
Stamp it,
please.
and it is for you.
Approved. Yes.
You might want to give him a call.
Now, if they don't have what they need, they'll let us know.
He will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a rough morning for him. Started early.
Oh, yeah, he hadn't any sleep. He was sleeping in the corner during the. I
That had
can't
to
believe
be
that
big.
drainage didn't keep him riveted.
He was actually, I was waiting for him to snore.
That was the drainage out east of town.
Yeah,
On and on.
and that one lasted a while. Yeah, if it'd been me, I'd have been snoring in the corner if I fell asleep. Sure.
Yeah, his head was like this.
It looked tough.
And as soon as it was time for his discussion, he had to go.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the drainage lasted too long.
All right. I got that signed. Anything else for open forum?
Do you want to call Shauna? There's something, she can explain it better than I can. I'm not sure how it really all goes. Something about
For open forum? here?
yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Shauna. Carla said you had something for open forum. You wanted to explain? I don't know.
Something about lawyers and titles and
Lawyers and titles.
money back and something. Maybe she doesn't want to.
Well, maybe not.
Put it on next week.
Well,
We can do it.
if we figure it out, we can do it next week. All right. Thanks.
Is that, she was in, are you sure this is something, she was in last week or the week before, that there was some changes that needed to be made?
No, this is about something about this Laird law office, and one law office filed something, and then another law office filed the same thing, and then one of them wants their money back, and
Oh.
but I'm not really. It happened. I don't know. So I thought she
So
was
it's
going to talk
kind
about
of a discrepancy as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
But
Next
if
week.
she doesn't
we
want to talk
need
about it, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Probably being sorted out. Anything else for open forum? Then we stand adjourned.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, look again. The date on that,
Somebody had put it in my file, so that's why I brought it
out
up.
with the date of the open house for the nature center. Again, does anybody know?
Isn't that the 13th? No. I don't know.
So that's the gentleman that's